All right, here is a video explaining the Gene Simmons, Richard Simmons skit from the Sword Girl Lip Sync Extravaganza 2018. So, super excited about this one. I think it's going to be hilarious. We've got Richard Simmons, played by Greg Gonzalez, and Gene Simmons, played by Andrew Kissinger, which I think is kind of perfect. I didn't realize when I asked, but Andrew Kissinger is going to play the lead singer from the band Kiss. It's kind of perfect. So. Anyway, the whole joke is I set it up with, all right, ladies, for this next act, we're gonna go a little bit old school and do some sweating to the oldies. We've got a real treat for you. We've actually hired a professional Gene Simmons impersonator. Wait, that can't be right. I checked my notes. Gene Simmons is the guy from Kiss. I think we mean Richard Simmons, right? Amanda, is it Richard or Gene? And as I'm saying that, Gene and Richard come out from either side of the stage and get about halfway up before they realize and see each other and stop in their tracks. And Richard says, "Not again!" Very Richard Simmons-y. And Gene just goes, "Every single time." And turns around and starts walking off stage. And I'm like, "Wait, Gene, wait, come back. We'd love to see you perform, maybe even a mashup. Ladies, would you like to see a Glee-style mashup between Gene Simmons and Richard Simmons? What a treat." We convinced Gene to come to the front of the stage with much cheering and applause. I should explain, too, so Richard will have the ear-worn mic so that he can do all the, exuberant hand motions and radiant body language that Richard Simmons typically has. And Gene will have just a handheld mic to be able to say his line at that point. And they'll come to the front of the stage with a boombox. And I'm not sure how this will go exactly. We'll either set it on the front of the stage or put it on a stool or something so that it's easily visible. I think a stool will probably make it most visible. But they'll come up to the front of the stage, and it'll start with Richard. He'll take it away with some "Celebrate Good Times." Good times, come on! Let's celebrate. Come on, ladies! And doing like the actual Richard Simmons thing and being super excited and just over the top. And Gene is just standing to the side, like, just utterly disgusted, like lifeless, emotionless. And the two extremes are, of course, Richard Simmons is like the happiest person on earth, just like way over the top, volcanic, just energy. And Gene is super cool, goth, rocker. He'll have the makeup and like full gear and stuff, and just like utter dismay. Just, what are you? Just a stare, blank stare. While Richard starts his thing, and then Gene has finally had enough. He comes up and mashes a button on the boombox, and this happens. And then Gene comes up and mashes the button. And for this, Andrew will get you a prop guitar or something, probably like a bass guitar, where you can have it, just strapped on and do some windmills and some kicks, or the horns and headbanging, or whatever you want. Just general rock and roll movements. This is happening. Stick your tongue out like Gene would. And Richard's like, "Gene!" and comes over and smashes the button. "Gene!" So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate. And again, Gene is just like having none of it. Like, what are you doing? Comes over and smashes the button again. And then this will be the second time that Richard is taking it back. So it starts Richard, Gene hits the button, Richard hits the button, Gene hits the button, and then when Richard hits the button, now this will be the third time pressing the button, second time taking it back because he starts with it, but third time actually hitting it. This will happen where it melts down the tape. It's both songs playing together and speeding up. And Richard doesn't notice, he just goes. Oops! And just like a totally innocent, unaware, oops, Sorry about your tape, Gene, but I got you a present. And you reach in, Greg, you reach into your pocket and you pull out a handful of gold glitter right into Gene's face. And Gene, for a second, Andrew, if you can, with a straight face, just hang out there, but like you got a piece in your eye. Pause. And like, hunch over like you got a piece in your eye. And then I'm not exactly clear how the next piece is going to go. My ideal version in my head is, Andrew, you then tackle Greg and just start wailing on him. And I call in security and they haul you out. I think probably I don't want anybody getting hurt, and I think that's probably too dangerous. So we can feel that out when we get together and just see if there's a way to make it look like you're actually hurting him without actually hurting him or yourself. But an easy consolation that works just as well is a slap fight. Like if you're both in like this, just slapping each other, this is harmless and it's funny. So you hunch over, you scream, and then do one of these, totally fine. And then I call in security and I say, all right, and I've talked to the parking team already. We've got George Shopper knows about it, Adam Bitts, Scott Hamilton, bigger guys who can lift you and haul you out. And I say something like, wow, that really escalated quickly, but isn't it always just super thrilling to see two legendary artists collaborate? Just magical, just something silly like that. So that's the plan. That's where it is in my head, but I love to talk more about it. I love input. Feel free to get goofy and silly and creative with it. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you. Thanks.